There are differences in communism of USSR and in communism of China. Well, so to say, when such a question was posed to Kim Il-sung, the leader of DPRK, Democratic People Republic of Korea, Kim Il-sung said, "We are a different nation. We are a different system of government. We are a different system of society. We are a different system of economy. Although we are communist, but we are not as communist as those of China, as those of USSR. So even the leaders of communism don't intermingle or inter-identify themselves. Same is the case with all of these economies, with all of these systems of societies, with all of these systems of governments, with all of these states. Yes, we can call them different editions of communism. The Mao Zedong edition of communism, the Stalin edition of communism, the Lenin edition of communism, the Kim Il-sung edition of communism. And then communism proliferated to the far distant areas where it did not come out of a struggle, but it was imported. Let's talk about Cuba. In 1960s, Cuba, one of the allies of USSR, was installed by nuclear weapons, nuclear ballistic missiles, and then a threat was imposed on USA when American president spoke in the Security Council and disclosed the installation of nuclear missiles in Cuba for the sake of attacking USA. See, communism was there in Cuba as well, but such a communism in Cuba was not with a struggle and development as that done by Mao Zedong in China, or as that done by Kim Il-sung in Korea, or as that done by Stalin and Lenin in Soviet Union. But in fact, it was an imported edition of communism in Cuba. It was an installed system of government in Cuba. Cuba being an old ally of Soviet Union, or should I say, being an adversary of USA, who had hostile relations with USA, so they naturally found an alliance with Soviet Union, and they did develop communism on the foundations as it was developed in North Korea, China, or Russia itself, but it was an installed communism by USSR, as the story goes on.